All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thanks for being here for day 9 of the 12 days of command. And we have a very special guest who will be going through everything today. So we've got Tracey Haswell, who is here from the Keller Williams Hendersonville Market Center. She wears many, many hats. She's an MCA, she's an MCTT, she's just an all-around rock star. And I'm so excited that she's going to be here with us today. So Tracey, I'm going to drop that document that you shared with me in chat, and I made you a co-host. You should be able to do everything you need. So take it away.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. So I'm just going to take you through the process of getting something under contract and then getting it through command for compliance and getting paid. Normally this is an hour class, so I'm going to have to kind of trim it down a little bit, but and the document that she's putting in the chat and sharing is just a flow chart I made. It takes you through the contact and command in the DocuSign step by step, like just a brief summary of what you need to do and then how to get them into command for compliance. All right, so let me share my screen and get going here. All right, so can you see that? Are we good? All right. Okay, so the first thing, everything's based off of your contact. So you got to make sure your contact's in command first. And if my command's gonna cooperate with me. Hope this isn't one of those days. All right. Come on now, I know you can do it. Sorry, everyone. Let me refresh here. Normally I would show you, take you through the contact and how to enter the contact and everything, but I think everybody at this point is pretty basic and you can get to the contact and how to enter it. Just when you're entering a contact, you want to make sure you have as much information as you can, like their phone number, address, all that stuff, because that'll help you later. All right, I apologize. I don't know why. All right, let me, okay. Anybody else's command being slow this morning, or is it just me?
Mine's working okay, Tracey. So I don't know.
All right, so what I did, I just skipped over to the pipeline, you know. All right. So I'm going to go back to contacts again. Try this again. Yeah, because I was in command earlier and it was fine. It's just not wanting to cooperate. So I'm going to type in here and go to my test. And anybody that's new to this and wants to try it out, you can create a sample person and just make it obvious that it's a sample person and go through all these steps, and it's not gonna hurt anything. Oh, come on, I'm sorry. Of course this would happen. Okay, yay. All right, so we're going to open up our contact, go to opportunities, and then you want to create an opportunity. And just for reference, because everything is based off the contact, when you're creating your opportunities, like mine don't have the address on here because they're tests, but you want to put the address in the opportunity name so that when you're looking at all the deals that you've done with your client, it's easy to see which one is which. Okay, so we want to create an opportunity. Now the opportunity type, this is the important part because this is going to dictate what your list of documents are going to be required. And if you make an error on this, you can't change it, so you would have to archive the opportunity and create a new one. So let's do a listing. And then since we went through the client should be the right one here. And the opportunity name, this is what I was talking about, to put the address in. And then just scroll down. So you need to fill out any red asterisk fields here. And the commission rate, normal rate's 3% for, residential and 5% for land. And this is only for your side. Some people get confused, think it's the whole amount, but you're only putting in here what you're getting paid. And then we go to the phase. You can just change this. It's probably going to be active. And then hit create. Okay, so now it's going to be listed at the top here. And you want to click on the blue. Anything blue in here is clickable. So if you click on that, that'll open up your opportunity. And okay. So by default, it's going to open up in the details section. But you want to jump over to documents. And the first thing you need to do is select your checklist type. And this should have a list of all the documents required for compliance. And each market center is different. Your MCA creates these. So if there's a question or something's missing, just reach out to them and they can fix that. Okay, so we got residential. On the left here, these are, I call them folders, tabs, whatever you want to call them. But this is where you want to click for the different types of documents. So if you're just dealing with the listing documents right now, you go to listed, and then on the right here, it'll give you a list of all the documents that are required by your broker or by your BIC for compliance. And once you select the checklist type, any of these documents with this little DS here, that stands for DocuSign, so they will auto-populate when you go to open DocuSign to kind of save you some time. And this is also done by the MCA, so again, if there's any questions, reach out to them. One thing to note, see this little I here, if you hover over it, if whoever set it up, if they put the form number or any other notes, that'll show up there for you. Okay, so we picked our checklist type. Now we want to start transaction. And this is going to take us into DocuSign to get our documents. Okay, so if DocuSign doesn't open when you hit that button, you want to make sure and check for your pop-up blockers, because chances are that's why the DocuSign tab's not opening. You want to go ahead and log in. Okay, so mine isn't set up properly, so those forms aren't auto-populating in mine. But they should auto-populate in yours if it's set up like that. So if you are looking at that flow chart that I created, the first thing I recommend to do is to go to the details section and then go to edit and put in as much information in here as you have, because anything that you put in here is going to autofill on your documents. So like the address, and then the other important part to this is on the right hand column here. These are all your contacts. So you got your seller information. So you want to make sure that their name and email address are in here at least, because this is going to help for when you have to send forms out for signatures. And then you can, like, instead of scrolling all the way down, you can hit these little arrows here and collapse this so that you can see them all. So your information should automatically populate here. Okay, so then once you got all your information in there and you think you're good for now, remember to hit the save button. Done that a couple times without, and then you get mad because you entered all that information and it goes away if you don't hit save and you click out of it. So hit save, and then we go to documents. All right, so now we're in documents and we go to add. So if you're looking for DocuSign forms, you go to DocuSign forms. Those are the ones that are going to pre-fill the information, and they're the ones that are linked to the details section. So you click on that. And again, these groups here are custom made by your market center, so they might look a little different, and obviously if you're in a different state. So I kind of limited them, like North Carolina buyer docs, listing docs, but down below in the libraries, these will show everything. And okay, so I'm going to click on the Ncar Forms, and so you can search if you know the name, like just type it in and it'll limit it, and then just select it, and then you can type in another one. And then select that, and then you just get all your forms that you need, and then hit add selected. All right, so DocuSign will take a couple seconds. If you're not seeing any text here, that means it's not totally loaded yet, so it might be a little funky. What I usually do is I reload it. There we go. Now you know that they're fully in there. And the other thing you might see is when you pull a document in and it says sample on it, that's just if there's no information on that form at all, like when you open it, it'll say sample. And the way to get rid of the sample is to just add text in there somewhere and save it, and then refresh the page, and that sample should go away. All right, so okay, so we got our forms. Now, before you send them for signatures, you have to check the text, because once you get them in what they call the envelope for signatures, you cannot edit the text. So to do that, you want to just click on the middle of the form, and that'll bring it up. Okay, so you just want to go through and, select or write in what you need to, make sure everything else is correct. Right. And if you see, as you hover over it, it'll tell you like what's supposed to go in that field. So this will be the city, state. All right, so then you just put in all the information, save and close. And then do that for the other ones. So yeah, again, just a reminder, like when you're doing this and you're trying, if you have a form that when you send it for signatures, the signee is supposed to fill in the information, it won't let you fill it in this part. This part's only for text that's not related to signing. So yeah, again, just go through and fill it out. Obviously, I'm not filling these out properly. Okay. So another thing to note that I've had people have issues with, if you open it up and you want to print it, you would think that you would go here to other actions but that's not it. You have to, this little tiny paper icon here, that's where all the options are, like for printing and emailing and all that. Okay, so again, save and close. Okay, so now we got our documents text ready. They're ready for people to sign them. So we want to select the little square on the top left. And as soon as you do that, this little toolbar will pop up, and you want to select the little pen here to create the envelope. Okay, and this is a two-step process. Okay, so we got at the beginning, at the top here is the name of the envelope, and this is just for your reference when you're looking at all your envelopes on the screen. It's, you know, so you know what forms are in there. This section here, you just want to make sure that those are the right forms. You really don't have to do anything. Now down here, the recipients for the envelope, this is the important part. You want to use the pre-tagged roles, because this is what's going to auto-populate the signature fields for you. So anybody that you're sending this to that needs to sign, that's who you need to select on here. And then make sure you select the proper name and email over here. And then hit add selected. Am I going too fast? Am I good? Everybody's good? Okay. Alrighty. So we got our people in there. Now one thing to note when you got your, like if you have two people you need to sign, DocuSign allows you to have them both have the same email. But what I recommend, if you do that, if you send to two people with the same email address, I would put a 1 and a 2 over here, because that just means that they'll send the first email out to the first person, and then the second person won't get that other email until the first person signs. So it kind of, because some people get confused, they get two emails at the same time and the same email address. This way it breaks it up a little bit, and it makes it a little clearer for them. But that's with that 1 and the 2. But if it doesn't matter, you can have them both be 1. All right, so we got our people in there that need to sign it. Down at the bottom, you can put a little message. This is what they will see in the email. Yeah, please sign. Okay, so we get all that done, and then we go hit the orange button to go to the next part. Okay, so this part, if you're using DocuSign forms, you really shouldn't have to do anything here other than verify that the information on the form is correct and that, you know, the signature fields are on there. Now, if you have more than one person, on the top left up here is a drop down. Each person that has to sign on the document will have their own color. So it's easy to see, to make sure that they're both on there. So as I scroll down, so you can see that they're both on there. And it's really easy. If you needed to add anything, you just click it and drop it in here. Now the one thing with DocuSign, if you do have to add a signature field, you have to make sure to put the date signed also, because it won't automatically timestamp it. And then if you need to get rid of something, you can click and drag it over here, or just select it and hit delete. Another thing to note is, so like if you're sending a PDF to sign, you have to manually put these in here. And if you need to add a text box, so if it's colored like solid color like this, it's a required field for them, and it won't let them finish signing it until they fill that out. And if you click on it, over here are your formatting tools. So if you want to add a text box but don't want to make it required, then you just have to uncheck this. And then again, if you want to make it read only, you check that. So yeah, all your formatting tools are there on the left. Oops. Okay. So we got all our signature fields on there. Text is good. We're ready to send it. So we would just hit send. Okay, so then it'll default and take you to the envelope section of DocuSign, and then it'll show you waiting for others, and it'll show you where everything's at. All right, so let me X out of here. So for time's sake, I'm going to skip the signing part. Does anybody have any questions up until now about how to sign or any DocuSign or anything? Good?
Yeah, no questions in chat. You're doing great, Tracy. Just comments that they have used it and like the workflow and stuff.
Cool. All right, so now say we got some signed documents. We go back to command. All right, there we go. All right. So there's two different ways in command to upload documents for compliance. If they're in your DocuSign room, then you would just click here and then select the folder. 9 times out of 10, it's going to just be room docs. And then once they're signed, you would just click on the corresponding document name here, and then it'll show the list here, and you just select it, and that'll go in there. But if it's a PDF that you had signed, or that somebody sent you, or it's on your computer, then you'd have to change it to my computer, and then manually find it on your computer, and then just drop it in there. And then if you realize that you put the wrong document in there, you can remove it. Oops. But only if it's before you submit them for compliance. So if I had that in there and I hit submit to MC, it's going to lock it. So you can only replace it. You can't remove it after that point. So that's the basics for uploading documents for compliance. I'm going to show you real quick the commission part, because this one you have to submit your commissions in order to get paid when it closes, because otherwise we don't know anything. So the first thing you need to do is, if it's a listing, select your listing. And if it's your listing, it should show up here, and you would just hit select. But because I don't have one, nothing's showing up. I got to change this. If you can't find yours, if it doesn't default and show up there, if you change this to all listings, and then it should, you just have to type it in here. Let's just go with this. So we just select it, and that links it to your command. Okay, so offers and commissions is a two-step part. First, you have to add the offer. Just hit create. So you would put in the offer date, and I recommend that agents do this like within a week of it going under contract, because if it's not submitted in the same month that it goes under contract, we can't backdate anything. So we would have to, like, if it goes under contract in November and they don't submit it till November or December, we'd have to put the offer date as December 1. And then the closing date, and that's an estimate. None of this is written in stone. And hit that. So we want the buyer's name. And this is just mainly so that when we do get the closing, the settlement statement, we can double check that everything is correct and we have the right one. And again, just the red asterisks. Okay, and this is the co-op agent. Just put their name in here. Hit the blue button, go to next. And then the sales price goes up here. We don't worry about any of the other stuff because we, different states, they're all different. You can put stuff in there if you want, but it's not necessary. And this you can leave blank. This is only if you're going to use this to send multiple offers to your client to review. So we hit save. And then we want to accept the offer. And then we go to manage commission. This is the important part. Okay, so we have to go in here, and this is red, so that means we have to edit it. So we edit general information. And contract date again, and save changes. So if everything's normal on this, there's no outside referrals, it's just you, it should be pretty simple. Everything should be correct. You just want to double check that. And then you would just hit submit. And then this will pop up. See if you want to make a donation to KW Cares. If not, you'd hit skip. And then this will send it to the MCA and they'll get your information so they can pay you. All right. There's a lot more to it, but like I said, we're limited on time. But that is the basics, and that'll get you through the majority of the process.
You ended it with the good stuff of getting paid, Tracey.
Yes.
That's the important part.
Yes.
Any other questions from anyone? We're good. Okay, awesome. This was great. Thank you, Tracey, so much. A reminder, you guys will have our final few 12 days of command. That'll be next week on Monday at, I'm just double checking, 3 o'clock. We'll have 12 days of command, and it'll be all about Facebook ads. So how to create the best Facebook ad possible to get more leads. So that'll be Monday at 3 p.m. So thank you guys so much for being here, and have an awesome weekend. And we'll take this recording and put it on our YouTube channel with the rest of them. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracey.
Yep.